welcome back to Dungeons, Dudes, and Dragons. My name is David Ashbaugh, your Dungeon Master, and of course, as always, joined by our three fearless adventurers who are level 4 now. I don't think we specified that before the Christmas special. But we've got Darren, the Aasimar Wizard, Alex, the Half-Elf Fighter, and of course, David, the Tiefling Bard. And gentlemen, we're into the new year, and well, we are technically recording this in November of 2024, but it will be dropping as the first episode of 2025.
Oh, it's nice to be here. Nice here in 2025. The air just feels kind of different.
It's so much better. Winning lottery numbers are 6, 4, 32.
Yeah. Yeah, the winning lottery number is 7.
Hey guys,
7.
How about that?
Again, 7.
How about that crazy news story that happened on New Year's Day that we're all up to date on? Because this is right. Isn't that?
Can you believe that the Democrats stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2025?
Oh my God.
Wasn't that a crazy story?
Bro, if this actually ends up happening, lottery tickets.
Imagine
all
if a
around.
crazy news event went down. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see that ludicrous display last night? My God.
Oh,
Ludacris was performing?
Back on tour. Yeah, he's opening for My Chemical Romance.
Oh, God. Most expensive concert in the world.
I would go to that for sure.
Yeah. I can't afford MCR, though. Nothing's more punk rock than a $700 ticket.
Oof. Yeah. Really sticking it to the man.
Is that what they're going for?
this is why.
Yeah, they're like
really a band of the
$600.
people, aren't they?
Oh, yeah,
This is
totally.
why I do festivals, man. You can go to one festival for like $300 and see 15,
man.
20 bands.
When we were young, I can go see, you can see 30 MCRs at When We Were Young Festival for less than the price of just seeing MCR.
Right?
Yeah, I went to Virgin Radio Fest at UBC's Thunderbird Stadium and saw, Rise Against, Billy Talent, and My Chemical Romance in 2007.
Ooh.
What's Virgin Radio Fest? Just a bunch of loser dudes.
Bunch of virgins.
It is the
Yeah, a
most.
bunch of guys with taped up glasses.
It's the
Warped
most
Tour
awkward
always has my
orgy
heart.
you've ever been to in your entire life.
Just a bunch of pocket protectors pushing together.
It's like the first dance over in 7th grade. No one wants to cross the aisle.
Yeah,
We used to have
exactly.
there was a teacher that would come at you with a ruler, like a little 30-centimeter ruler stick, that if you were too close to that, she'd separate your hips. So it was a bunch of 7th graders, pushing their junk together because we don't know what's going on down there. And then this librarian coming up and being 30 centimeters and pushing these kids away. Saskatchewan,
Dolores
baby.
Umbridge.
It's another world.
Imagine going home from your job from monitoring the school day. Dear diary.
I stopped 14 boners today.
No, they didn't stop.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they only made them
It was
worse.
30 centimeters away.
Yeah.
All right,
I was gonna
well,
go to the
let's-
bathroom quick.
Let's get into some dude dialogue here, and this is actually kind of related to 7th grade when we were kids. But I was just kind of thinking about this
Great segue.
yesterday. I know, thank you. What 90s fictional character do you think had the most influence over your current personality, or influence on your current personality?
Oof. Oh boy.
Because I feel like the 90s was the golden age for sitcoms and adult cartoons, what with The Simpsons and King of the Hill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So getting raised in the 90s, you're exposed to so many fictional characters. So what do you guys think? Let's start with David.
100% without a question, Crash Bandicoot.
All right, was not expecting that, but all right.
Elaborate, please.
That was the first time I got exposed to a game that I was into. I remember playing it with my dad on the PS1, and it set me down the path of being a gamer for the rest of my life.
Oh, very cool.
Fair enough. I like that. All right, Darren.
Mine would go to a one George Louis Costanza. Would be the most influential. That man, that show, Seinfeld, essentially raised me. Our parents banned us from watching it because they walked in and me and my brothers were watching it one night, and it was the contest episode to see who could go the longest without jerking off.
Oh yeah, where he becomes super smart.
Yeah, George gets super intellectual.
Yeah.
But my parents walk in, and they're very religious. So they were like, you guys can't be watching this show, blah, 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 blah. So they banned us from it. And then a couple of weeks later, around 10 p.m., we hear my parents just killing themselves laughing upstairs. We go upstairs. They're watching Seinfeld. We introduced them to the show. Then they started watching it, and then after we caught them doing that, we all would gather around the living room TV and start watching Seinfeld every night when there was a new episode. And George Costanza is the reason that for most of my like formative years, I was just a compulsive liar, because it's not a lie if you believe it.
That's a really nice story, though.
I like that. All right,
family bonding. Yeah,
Alex, what do you think, Alex?
Well, I've thought a little bit about this one. I do have a bit of an idea. In the 90s, there were a lot of those kind of like edgelord, characters just dripping in sarcasm, right? Like Eric Cartman, Bart Simpson. You got a lot of those kind of coming up. But, you had mentioned something, David, that kind of pulled me back into what I really think. Like, one of the ones that formed me was Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. Bobby,
I don't know you. That's my purse.
Yeah.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
Yeah. Bobby exists in a world where, it's very Republican, very proper, very real man. And he is forced to be something that he isn't. And he wants to be silly. And that is kind of the first time where I was like, wait a minute. Like, I could grow up and want to be like a prop comedian. Like, that's a real thing. Bobby gave me permission to be silly. So that is the one that I kind of gravitated to, even though I wanted to be one of those like sarcastic edgelord, like, they were popular at the time. Stone Cold Steve Austin, D-Generation X, David, God.
Yes. I'm glad you brought up sarcastic characters, because I think the one that had the most influence over me, and kind of like Darren, we would sit around as a family and watch new episodes of Friends every week. And I really adopted the kind of cynical, bitter, dry humor that Chandler had. So I think that character, Ms. Chenandler Bong.
Yeah, it's Mrs. Chenandler Bong.
But yeah, just kind of the dry wit and cynicism, I don't know, really spoke to me, I guess. But yeah, so that would be my choice.
Still doesn't get much better. I'm rewatching like Friends just like on the background or before I go to bed, and it's just still so good.
Oh, it's a great show.
So funny still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think one of my favorite parts in that entire show, one of the funniest parts, it's just like a really offhand joke, but they're like at the coffee shop and Gunther pulls out a box of Lost and Found and Joey just goes, "My shoe," and pulls one shoe out of the Lost and Found box. And it's just, I don't know why, but it just always gets me.
There's the one I'm on right now is where Ross is trying to prove to the group that he can flirt. And he
orders all the
pizza
pizzas.
girl. Yeah, and he's just like, just in case you're wondering, I just so happen to like 8-year-old boys. Because he's talking about her haircut and how she thinks she looks like an 8-year-old boy, and it's just such a good joke.
Oh yeah, it's a great show. But anyways, actually, I kind of messed up the introduction here because I didn't give you guys a recap of last episode before I do dialogue, so I will do that now. Of course, our last episode was the ChRIZZmas special, the last episode of 2024, and it was a fun one. Alex used his gun
so much.
A lot, yeah.
I also want to specify that when I gave Alex that gun, I did not look at the stats close enough. I did not intend for him to have a plus 11 to hit, so that's my bad. But
thank
Alex,
you,
you're
thank
welcome.
you very much. Yep,
because I believe Alex rolled like a 29 to hit at one point or something. And he's like, I didn't even know hits go that high.
Yeah, all he did was pop skulls.
Yep, but you guys were in the town of Rockwhite, which had been overtaken by some sort of snow curse with magical weapons, playing Christmas carols around the town. You fought some ice mephits on the dock. You then got trapped in a dome of ice, and instead of trying to light the candles in a certain order, you did everything except for that for a very long time.
Puzzles aren't our thing.
I would like to request less puzzles going forward, if that's possible.
Yeah, if I'm feeling lazy and I haven't written a big module for a session heading forward, I'll just put one puzzle in front of you, and that'll take up like half the episode.
Simplest puzzle, and we'll take 40 minutes getting to the bottom of it.
And then, of course,
why won't the square go in the circle?
Oh, God.
And then, of course, you guys went up to the manor where you encountered the cause of the snow curse, who was an embittered Riz Bonnaroo, who was angry at you for turning him into a joke after David's performance.
Bonnaroo,
at
yeah.
the festival.
Mortal enemy.
And I believe he actually downed David by like stabbing him with some claws.
I don't recall that at all.
But then Alex shot him and
Well, of course
caused
I
him to
did.
run away.
Yeah, what else are you going to do with a gun? Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, getting shot would make most people run away.
But then Darren went and revived him, and then your guys' phone pinged and let you know that you've got yourselves a nice little home base now. You've got that little manor that is, well, it's not very little, but you can use that as a home base now. And I will mention after we stopped recording, actually, I meant to do this while we were still recording, but David did get a weapon from Riz Bonnaroo. I believe it's the crossbow of, what is it called, David? Do you have it there in your
The
inventory?
crossbow of eternal winter.
That's the one, yeah. So basically he can use that as a crossbow to shoot ice shards, which then explode, doing 2d6 damage in a, I think, 10-foot radius, if I'm not mistaken.
Vat No Tab getting all the coolest fucking items in this game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Speaking of,
to be-
I'm going to divvy up some things after.
to be fair, Darren, you have a Pokeball, and I will like to remind you, you still technically have command of
Yeah, we
Alex.
haven't exploited that too much yet, but like by the rule of that Pokeball, I have to listen to and do everything you say and do or tell me to. Yeah.
Because I'm trying to let it go long enough that you forget entirely. That's when I'm going to strike.
Okay, so, well, we'll pick up right where we left off, as we always do. You guys are standing in kind of like the foyer of the manor, and I'll just give you a quick rundown. The manor has 2 stories. The first story, which you find yourselves on, fairly open floor plan. Most of the first floor just kind of being an open space, not many walls dividing anything. Kitchen and dining area, if you come in the front door, is on your left side of the house. There's animal heads, beautiful tapestries adorning the walls in the dining area section. There is a large oak table with a dozen chairs for dining. That's kind of on like the southwest corner, so right to the left as you come in the front door, with a large bay window overlooking the town and the ocean to the west. It's all very scenic and beautiful. Kitchen is in the far back left corner with all manner of utensils. You see drying herbs, hanging wheels of cheese and meats. There's a large cast iron wood-burning stove. Oven located on the back wall there, and there's also an island cutting surface in the kitchen. You can use that to, prepare food and as such. And then on the back wall, there's a small little, almost like a little breakfast or reading nook with comfortable chairs. Looks like it could be used also for maybe some after dinner drinks, smoke a stogie, And then there's also a little library there. On the right side of the house, it is kind of like the social area. It's got a large stone fireplace. There's a large bar with numerous bottles of liquor behind it, and then there is a large, comfortable looking leather couch and lots of leather chairs. And then the second story up above is accessible by 2 staircases that flank either side of the entrance. The second story contains 3 bedrooms, lucky enough. One to the north overlooking the forest at the back, one to the east overlooking the steep hillside on the right side of the house if you're coming in the front door, and then one to the west overlooking the ocean. All 3 bedrooms are occupied by large beds that look very comfortable, and they all have, a closet for storage and a chest at the foot of the bed. Pretty standard stuff.
I go, dibs on the ocean room, and I run away, frolicking up the stairs with my stuff.
I called dibs on the top bunk.
I was hoping there might be some fighting over that ocean room.
Yeah.
It was a tough call between the forest and the ocean, but I do like a morning sunrise over the water.
Well, as you guys are getting kind of acquainted with the manor, you're kind of just looking about, getting settled in your respective rooms. Okay, so Darren is going to take the ocean bedroom. Is there anybody that wants to contest that, perhaps with a roll?
Anybody who would like that room, I will challenge to an arm wrestling roll-off.
Okay, I like that. Wait, all right, an arm wrestle.
Yeah.
So
everybody except for Alex, who has a bonus to strength.
I'm going to let you have this one. The ocean view's not too, it doesn't really strike me that much. It's all yours.
All right. I swing my guitar behind my back and I extend my arm out for this arm wrestle.
Oh, all right.
All right, let's make some opposing strength checks, gentlemen.
First, I would like
know
to...
that level up brought my strength up to a nice +0 now.
Hey,
Ooh.
well, you and I both a +0 on the strength check, sir. I request that we go... Is there a any type of patio window or anything on my ocean room overlook?
No patio, but I mean the front door has a nice like porch with some rocking chairs and stuff overlooking the town.
All right, fine. We'll do it on
Perfect.
the porch then.
Plan on throwing him over the porch.
I was hoping for an epic view while we do the arm wrestling, but perhaps throwing him over the balcony as well would have been quite a show.
Where did
No,
David
that
go? Don't
+0
worry about
strength,
it.
dude.
Yeah, just you need to roll a new character. David was taken by the waves.
All right, let's give me some opposing strength rolls, gentlemen.
And I'll tell you what, Darren, I'm going to raise the pot a little bit here. And I'm
Okay.
going to put my ring of feather falling on the line.
Okay, hang on here. What do I got in my bag? We're upping the ante, you
What
say.
is-
All right, okay. I will add... it's not quite the same,
One
but
Advil.
yes, I will give you an extra strength Tylenol. And a migrator potion of healing.
Ooh.
On the table as well.
All right, so for the ocean room and the feather falling ring, as well as a greater healing potion, let's have ourselves a strength check, gentlemen.
So it's a straight D20 roll? Is that what we're doing, David?
Yeah, if you're both plus
Nice,
0,
sir.
yeah.
Okay. On 3?
On 3.
1, 2, 3.
It's not bad. Diddly 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 doo.
David
Best
with
2 of 3, my friend. Best 2 of 3, perhaps?
So David
tell you
with
what.
the 18, Darren with the 12. Womp womp.
I should not have been
Bring
so,
out my hand to shake your hand.
I extend my hand to shake it. An excellent battle, my friend.
Well fought. And I placed the ring that was in my hand, so you get to keep that ring of feather.
Oh! And when I feel the cold, sweet steel of that ring touch my palm, I clasp his hand and pull him in for a man's hug.
I thought you were going to say a kiss on the cheek.
We make out in our new bedroom together.
Passionate tongue kiss.
We can share the bedroom.
Swap and spit the most romantic makeout, and Alex at the bottom of the stairs, like, what the fuck?
This ring is my promise to you.
I just came back from relieving myself, and I see you're still in your feat of strength.
Yes, we're just about to relieve ourselves up here in the bedroom, if you'd like to.
Hi-yo. Oh, my.
Yeah, I was hoping for an oh my.
Oh, my.
All right, so David gets the ocean view room. Alex, which room had you claimed?
Ivy's, what rooms are left?
The one on the back wall is kind of overlooking the forest, and then the one on the right side, basically the opposite of David's, is looking at basically a steep cliffside all the way up. So you're basically looking at like a rock wall out your window.
I would like to go with the forest view.
And Darren, being the loser that he is, gets the
Yeah.
shitty room.
I just, with my head down and both my bags on either hand, I just slowly walk to my new loser room.
And then you
Put on your ring of feather falling and just
Oh,
jump
yes.
off the roof.
I try to kill myself, but I just fall too slowly.
Sadly floats to the ground.
to make himself
Not take this roof.
feel better. Darren never uses the stairs when going down. He just jumps off the balcony and slowly floats to the first floor.
Yeah.
All right,
Well-
I've added my ring to my inventory. Thank you, Devad.
As you
You're
gentlemen get kind of cozy and acquainted with your new home base of operations, the doorbell rings.
Damn it, I was hoping to
you are
rest.
clearly quite busy right now. I'll get myself down there. Yeah.
And so, Alex, you walk up, you answer the door, you open the door, and in front of you stands a tall, slender, unassuming man. He's got a black mustache, well-kept black hair. He's wearing a well-tailored, have you guys ever watched, like, Peaky Blinders? Yeah. He's dressed kind of like Thomas Shelby,
Yeah.
except it's, like, black suit with vibrant blue highlights and a blue tie. Turns his head over his shoulder, Alex, and you see behind him is a massive, hulking orc standing behind him, holding a huge battle axe, and he turns his head to this orc, and he says, "We are not to be disturbed." And Alex, he kind of pushes his way past you into the house.
Boys, we've dealt with our Christmas tree nearly a week and a half ago. What are you doing in here?
And
They're trying to force their way into our manor.
And he kind of just walks around looking at the house. And so Darren and David, do you guys kind of come out of your rooms and check out what's this ruckus is about?
I
Yeah, kinda lean over the balcony
I think they're
and
deep
look
in
down.
their room.
Deep
balls
inside.
deep in my room right now.
Yeah.
I come out. I've changed into my bathrobe, and I just come out, dick in the wind.
All right.
Who are these visitors?
This tall, slender man closes the door behind him, and he slowly saunters over to the bar, pours himself a drink, and then just kind of looks at the fireplace, and the fire springs to life, and he sits down on one of the leather chairs in the social area while slowly sipping on this cocktail he's made himself, and he looks at all three of you and he says, "I, gentlemen, brought you here."
Oh. I go sit on one of the comfortable leather chairs with my staff of Mary Jane and just I look him dead in the eyes, and I just take like a 13-second bubble pull off of that thing.
How is your leg placement on this chair? Are you still dick to the wind
Oh,
right
it
now?
dicks to the wind. I got one leg up on the ottoman in front, so it's just hanging nice and true. And I put the staff over to one side, so it's a full-on dick view while I take that.
I would say that's an intimidation if I've ever heard one.
I'm gonna walk over to the bar, and I'm going to pull out a lime and go, "Would you like me to prepare a lime for your drink while you continue to sit there and not introduce yourself?"
Hopefully he's not on culture scene. You could kill him.
Yeah.
And Alex, he just kind of looks at you blankly and then goes back to his drink.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start cutting up a lime then.
All right. David, what are you doing?
I guess I'll come down and join them. I'm gonna go to the bar. I don't want to sit with Darren's dick out.
Sit on the other side with your dick out. So we can surround him in a trifecta of dicks.
Yes.
So, as you guys...
I start pulling my pants down.
What do you do with that lime?
No, sorry.
that's coming.
It's
That's
no
coming.
bottoms in our chateau.
Yeah. New house rule.
Where are my assless chaps?
Put them on
I'll
backwards.
flip them around.
Yeah. I have half a mind to just kill all three of you right now.
This is what you wanted, David. This is what you asked for.
So, as you all settle in, takes one more sip of his drink, and he says, "You see, I was not fulfilled with my life back on Earth. So when I found myself here and realized the capabilities I possessed, figure I couldn't have been the only one. Created the portal... I'm sorry?
Did you say you're from Earth?
Yes, we will get to that. Please do not interrupt.
I'm just gonna drop a lime in his drink, and then I'm gonna go back to the bar and sit down.
You see, creating the portal that brought me here in the first place was easy. It was an accident, but it was not hard to replicate. Finding you three, however, has proved quite difficult. It seems that not all humans are destined for this realm. In fact, it seems as if most are not even worth the skin they wear once they get here. I've been here for a very long time, gentlemen, and I have been searching for the ones who were spoken of in the prophecy. For you see, the stones that are tied to each of you are the key to unlocking immense power. Power beyond your wildest dreams. And so, I have a proposition. I brought you here for a reason. You three are the only ones who can recover your stones, of course, so I would like you to recover your stones, bring them to me, and I shall send you home. I know you've already recovered the scroll, and that you know that you must recover the stones in order. And Arrhenius, your stone is first, yes?
It would appear so.
Well, since I need you three to recover these stones, I shall share my knowledge. Arrhenius, like I said, I have been here for a very long time. I've done my research. I believe your ancestor founded the town of Fort Thorns. It's a thriving town of farmers and brewers. However, I have heard that the town has been split by a vicious feud between the two families that run the region of that realm. Unfortunately for you, it is going to be quite a journey to get there. It is to the far east. So, gentlemen, like I said, I want those stones. This realm needs a ruler, and those stones will give me the ability to do that. And, like I said, once I have the stones in hand, I will send you home to your lives back on Earth.
So let me get
Am I
this
still gonna look like this?
Yes.
Am I still gonna look like this if we go home?
Well, no, you'll change back into your normal form.
Okay. All right. Do I get to bring my guitar?
You can take whatever you like.
Fuck yeah.
So you are the catalyst that brought us here, locked us in chains, forced us to fight for our freedom, and has had us in utter peril since the moment we arrived.
Yes, like I said, not all humans are bound for this realm. I had to make sure you were the ones spoken of in the prophecy. I had to test you. I've brought many people here before, both people and beasts. I can access Earth at any point in history that I so wish. It has made me quite a bit of money selling slaves, animals, beasts of burden to the different people who would pay a hefty fee to have these kinds of things. And so, yes, I needed to test you in the arena to make sure you were the three I have been searching for so very long.
You realize you don't exactly paint a picture of a very reliable benefactor.
Yes, quite.
Well, gentlemen, should you three wish not to accept my terms, you won't be the ones who pay for your insolence. I, like I'd mentioned, have stabilized the portals between our realms. And he pulls out a small glass ball. Inside is kind of swirling with smoke, and it kind of coagulates into an image. And Alex, he points it at you, and Alex, you see your parents sitting in their living room watching TV. And then David, he points it at you, and you see your child playing with his toys. And then Darren, he points it at you, and you see your partner sitting on the couch with a cup of tea, and he says, "You, like I said, will not be the ones paying the price for your insolence. I can bring who I want, when I want, to this realm."
If you truly wanted to scare me, sir, you would have shown me my cats. You say... Now, you say you would rule with these stones. What type of ruler do you plan to be?
Well, that is of none of your concern. I have...
Well, at least the man who is trying to pay for our duties, his name, I feel, is our concern. What do you call yourself?
You can call me sir.
I look over at Alex, and I just roll my eyes like, this fucking guy.
I give him a slight nod, and I'm kind of staring at the ogre with the axe.
He stayed outside.
Okay.
He kind of told him like that he didn't want to be disturbed while he was in. So you have to assume the ogre is standing outside, kind of guarding the front door. But Alex, I'm actually glad you say that, because after he has shown you pictures of your loved ones in this little orb, you hear kind of a ruckus going on outside, and well, you hear someone kind of yelling at this orc trying to get in.
I'm just going to go right, I'm sitting at the bar right now. I'm just going to go right out to the front and see what's going on.
Okay, so you open the front door, and standing about 15 feet in front of this huge orc, you see Chuck. And he's got 3 arrows knocked, aimed at this orc, and he says, "Oh, Sir Alex, just give me the word, and this big fella here hits the ground faster than you can say, don't ya know."
Chuck, I'm so happy to see you, but put your arrows down. We're in the middle of a negotiation.
Well, this big fella here isn't gonna let me inside, and I need to come to make sure you boys are all right. And as he says that, the tall, slender man walks out and just kind of laughs. "Jax, it's okay. Lower your axe. We'll leave without much fuss. Gentlemen, you have my terms. You have my proposal." The giant orc lowers his axe, and the two of them walk past Chuck, who never drops aim on his bow. And the tall man kind of side-eyes Chuck as he walks by, and he's like, "I like you, my stout friend. I'm sure we'll meet again." And then the man and his orc guard disappear into a swirling portal of black smoke and crackling blue energy that then closes, and Chuck is left standing there, bow in hand, and he's like, "Boys, what the fuck was that?"
Before we discuss anything, I would like to investigate every place that man was to see if he's installed any type of listening devices.
All right, make me an investigation check.
That is a 14.
As far as you can tell, he left nothing behind.
As far as I can tell, he hasn't left anything behind.
I'm going to. So the whole time after I've dropped a lime in his drink, I've been holding like half a lime in my hand. So I'm just going to squeeze it out of anger and just go, "Still don't have his name," and then throw the lime on the ground. And then I think I'm going to lean over to Chuck and put my hand on his shoulder. Brother, "It's good to see you, friend."
Oh, it's good to see you too, Sir Alex. I was worried about you boys. You'd been missing for about a week or so, but then I heard that this town had some troubles with some weird weather, so I came to investigate. But once I got here, the townsfolk had told me that 3 adventurers had come in and saved them from whatever the curse was, and then they pointed me in this direction, so I figured it had to be you 3.
Come inside, Chuck. Let's discuss this further in our brand new clubhouse.
And
To the abode.
And as Chuck makes his way inside, you see about 20 feet behind him, walking up is Amelia, Fred, Chester, and Fleetwood.
Aww.
Yay! It's a party now! I use thaumaturgy to throw on some yacht rock.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville.
Yeah, literally.
And Fred walks up. Well, Chester bounds forward, really happy. Just
I run up to Chester.
and like in the front door.
Chester, like, hey boy. And chase him into the house like a dog.
And then Darren Fleetwood comes up to you, crawls up your leg, and makes himself cozy in the hood of your cape.
There's my boy. And I just pat him on the back.
And then Fred and Amelia walk up, and Fred says to you, he's like, "Well, boys, we noticed that there was no longer snow and ice all over this town, so we figured you had figured out what was going on, so we came looking for you, and we were pointed in this direction. This is quite the nice manor you find yourselves in."
Yes. It's our brand new manor that we managed to take away from a nasty, dastardly sort and his haunted instruments.
Wonderful. Well, Amelia, why don't you go inside and make yourself comfortable? And boys, just to let you know, old Bessie is looking good and proper. If you need any transportation, I'd be happy to fly you where you need to go.
Well, there was a place that piece of shit who's forcing us to call him sir told us about called Fort Fjords. Does that ring a bell, Chuck?
Fort Fjords is a real far ways away, boys. That's gonna be quite the journey. But this guy over here says he has some sort of transportation.
Fred, my boy.
Oh, right, that's me. Sorry.
So when you got 12 people, you got to role play. I get it.
Sorry. Yes, Doranius, how may I help you?
What's the range on that flying machine of yours?
Well, it's a few hundred, potentially 1,000 kilometers. So it's we've got quite the range on that on old Bessie there. We could hopefully we could get you to where you need to go. What was the town name? Fort Fjords, you said, did you?
Yeah, Chuck, would a couple hundred to 1,000 miles, kilometers, be far enough for such a creature to take us?
Well, damn it. Okay, new voice. Here we go. Oh, yeah, well, it's it'd be a couple days journey on horseback, so if you've got some sort of flying contraption of some sort, we should be okay getting there.
I line up a bunch of drinks at the bar.
Yes, perhaps one final evening of libations before we head out on such a conquest.
Cut to the social montage as people get drunker and drunker throughout the evening.
Yeah.
Darren's
Set
got
to the theme song of Genuine's Pony. Wow. My pony. Just getting fucking wasted with everybody.
I just want to throw this in, a little Easter egg for anybody who doesn't know. There is a language
Daniel
bass
Wesley.
recording artist,
That's the first
Daniel
time I
Wesley.
heard that song.
Yeah, love Daniel Wesley.
He He did a fantastic cover of My Pony. It has a bass solo in it. I love his version
I saw
of it
Daniel
so much.
Wesley at the Garage in Sate. Great artist.
Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, so you guys have one last evening of kind of celebration and revelry now that you're back in Rock White. You're reunited with Chuck. And so...
Did that count as a full
I
rest? Because
I was just
I've been
about to
waiting for
say,
a rest.
you guys can now take a long rest. The first one
And-
in your home base.
Fantastic.
This is a table talk question.
Yeah.
Did anybody hook up with Amelia? Roll
I don't
to
remember.
hook up with Amelia. Straight D20. Who got it?
You know what? Following the tradition and success Alex has had with women so far in this podcast, he tried to hook up with Amelia, but she took her pistol out and threatened to shoot him.
Perfect.
I gave her some line about how good she is at navigating, and then she just pistol whipped me. Yeah. So, what else can you find your way around? Or are you going to need a bit of help with that?
Yeah.
Alex is waking.
navigate a certain area.
Alex is waking up with
Yeah.
a bit badder of a headache than the rest of you.
And roll a d4 for damage.
The hangover kills you.
No, nowhere near combat. Just, let's see how this pistol whip
And
got you.
so as you wake up in the morning, as is his tradition, Chuck's already down in the kitchen preparing a nice breakfast for everybody before you set out on the road. And it looks like Fred has kind of taken an early morning as well to bring the airplane basically right up to the front of the manor. And he comes in the front door and he's like, "Good news, boys. It seems that the main street on this town of ours is long enough to act as a little bit of a runway, so we can take old Bessie straight from the front door."
Indeed. Boys, this still doesn't feel right. We have just been accosted into a mission. We were threatened with pictures of our partners, pets, and family. We don't have a name. We only have an objective that is only going to serve someone else. I don't feel good about this.
I mirror your concerns, and I say I think that maybe a small adventurer party huddle, and we do like the arms over shoulders kind of talk, and I say that we play along, we play nice for now, but once we get the stones, we obviously are going to kill this man. Correct?
Yeah, we get the
That's the
stones,
plan.
we
That's
become
what we're-
stronger, we level up a couple of times,
Of course.
and then we kill him.
Okay. I think we're all on the same page here, right? Possibly, at some point, because I have to assume his charisma and intelligence is quite low, I would like to capture that orc man in my Pokeball, and we could use him to our own means.
I will remind you, it does not work on humanoids unless they are a willing humanoid.
Well, I'll get him willing. I'll charm him with a hit off my staff of Mary Jane, and make him willingly get into the Pokeball.
Fuck Aaron.
So that
I feel strangely compelled to agree with Cyrillus.
I just got a shock on that one. So get the stones, acquire mass power, murder everyone who opposes us, including Sir.
Yes.
Especially,
We
sir.
murder him the hardest.
We murder him, yes. We murder him until he's dead.
Yes, and then a little bit afterwards.
And then perhaps we can bring him back to life and kill him
I
again.
am planning to multi-class into necromancy at a certain point. All right.
All right. I'm glad we are all on the same page with
Right.
this. Shall
On
we?
14, break. 1, 2, 3, 4,
3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, break!
Break.
So you see Chuck has kind of cleaned up the kitchen. He's strapping on his quiver of arrows. He's got his longbow ready to go. He's got some short swords just kind of sheathing them in. And he looks at you and says, "Okay, boys, well, I've missed you gents quite a bit. I'm looking forward to the next leg of this adventure, and I'm going to come with you if that's okay with you."
Yes, Chuck.
We've missed you as well, Chuck.
By the way, where did you pick up the mimic?
Oh, the mimic was in a cave that we were in down on Pirate Island, I believe. His name is Chester. Would you like to pet him?
No.
Oh, come on, give him a little tickle.
And
Little bit
Chester just
scratches.
kind of like jumps up to Chuck, and he's like, he comes up to like Chuck's nipples because Chuck's only 3 feet tall. And Chuck's just like, okay. And he just kind of gives him a little scritch on the top of the head, and Chester gives him a big lick right in the face. Just, and Chuck's like, that's why I don't like mimics, okay? They have no respect for personal space when it comes to their tongues.
Oh, that's why I like them. And I flick a gold into Chester's mouth.
Waiting for it.
Yeah. And Chester just catches it out of midair and devours it, and then kind of hops back to the corner and turns back into a regular-looking chest.
He's so cute when he's sleeping.
Yeah.
I take out my phone map and I take a couple photos of him from the same angle, but I take 13 photos of the sleeping mimic.
And then Chuck looks at you and he's like, well, boys, the good news is that mimic can keep an eye on the place while you're gone. You know, it can act as a bit of a guard dog. Mimics are pretty powerful creatures, so I don't think anybody's going to want to try and mess with him while he's sleeping there.
Terrific news. What's Amelia's plan during all of this?
Amelia looks at you and she says, well, gentlemen, I think I shall stay here and, well, I'm going to explore this quaint little town of ours, and Fred will tend to all your flying needs for now, but perhaps later on I shall join in another adventure. But for me, after having spent those months on that terrible island, I would just like a bit of rest.
Yeah.
You can use my room.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
It's an
ocean view.
Devad. I appreciate that. And then just before she walks upstairs to kind of get herself comfy in David's room, Alex, she just looks at you with like a bit of a disgusted look on her face and walks upstairs.
I slowly rub my black eye, and I say and do nothing.
I look at Alex and I say, hate and love are almost the same emotion. So,
I give him a cheeky little smile, a little wink, and I'm like, maybe this will make you feel better. And I give you my armlet of the arachnid.
Whoa!
What?
Whoa! Brother!
Oh, I don't think I can accept this. I don't know what to say. Like this was yours.
And now it's yours. And I just windmill away.
Alex is just like, I can't accept this, but I'm going to.
Of course, I have to say
I'm
the
just
nice
sitting
thing.
I'm just sitting here gobsmacked over that. Be like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So Alex, give us a swing. Go up onto the balcony and give us a swing from up top, back down to the foyer.
Oh, I think that we can wait on this one.
Oh, come on, give us a swing.
Well, okay, I'll give you a swing. All right. I put it on, and I try to swing from the ceiling.
Okay, make me either an athletics or an acrobatics roll. You choose.
I have a bonus in
table.
acrobatics, so I'm going to go with acrobatics. Okay, come on. There it is.
Ooh.
Ooh, 19 for Alex on the acrobatics. So, Alex, that's a real good acrobatics roll. So how do you swing, and what are you trying to do here to make it look as cool as possible?
I am doing a one-handed 450. I don't know, some kind of gymnast move. Like I'm going to with one hand, I'm going to shoot up to the top of the manor, throw myself up there, and I don't know, multiple flips, land on the roof. I'm gonna hit the Shawn Michaels Heartbreak Kid pose. There's gonna be some fireworks going off behind me.
Yes.
And then I'm going to jump back up and swing myself back down as I flip upside down and skim on my head, and then rotate, and then push myself back onto my feet.
Very Spider-Man-esque. Love it.
Beautiful.
And as you get back to your feet, you hear the sound of the airplane engine revving up, and you can see the townsfolk. The town is starting to wake up. The townsfolk kind of like are coming out, and they all look up in amazement at this flying metal beast contraption that you have at the top of the manor. And Fred says, well, boys, let's load up and get going. I want to be there before sundown.
I run back to my room, and I put my penis away, and I put on my proper battle gear and clothing.
I run upstairs and I put my pants away so my dick is out, and then I run back downstairs.
Yes, we are the Dicks 3 here to end your reign of terror.
Dungeons, Dicks, and Dragons.
Our new podcast, Dungeons, Dicks, and Dragons, comes out.
Only on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Fun fact, in the 1930s, there was a band of bank robbers who would rob banks with no pants on, and they were never caught because nobody could recognize them because they were so busy staring at their dicks.
Genius. Absolutely
You
genius.
You could just do things back then.
Man, right? Before CCTV footage? Shit.
You can live.
Now they got you in a dick database, and they
Yeah.
find you real quick.
What did he look like? Well, he was circumcised, shaved.
He was a redhead.
So you guys see,
I know that.
so you guys see Chuck kind of like apprehensively approaching the airplane because he really doesn't know what is going on, and he looks at you. He's like, "Are we supposed to get inside?"
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very safe. Very safe.
You could ride on top.
No, I think I'll ride inside. This is, well, it's interesting. And he just kind of like, well, like I said, he's 3 feet tall, so he just kind of like clambers into the airplane and finds himself a seat. And he's just kind of like sitting there, his legs not touching the ground, his feet just swinging back and forth like a little kid on a school bus.
I would like to see if there's a way that I can affix my staff to the nose of it to use as a turret.
Can your staff shoot things?
I'd assume that's where the magic comes from, or is that the channeling through me?
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, that would make sense if you like use the staff to channel your magic through the staff.
Right.
So
Or you can crop dust everyone with your Mary Jane.
I leave a constant trail of just the dopest hoot through the plane.
It's like Snoop Dogg's 300.
There's a chemtrails joke in here somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm making big clouds.
I will say this: if you affix it to the front of the airplane, you're gonna have to shoot
A
through
propeller.
the propeller. And to be fair, World War I fighters could do that because there was a timing mechanism on them, but I don't think it would work for you.
It's fair. It's fair. Okay. All of that took place in my head.
Got
and
up
I
to
decided
14 really good, though.
Yeah.
So do you guys get on in?
I'm going to run back upstairs and put some pants on, and
Nice.
and then I'm going to get into that plane.
Shotgun.
No, I bored.
Okay, so David is sitting shotgun. Darren, Alex, and Chuck are kind of in the back compartment, and Fred gets the plane into position. And I'm going to have Fred actually roll for this. See how well he takes off here. And Fred is going to roll on 11. All right, so it's not too bad.
We're all going to die.
But he
Crashes
But
into our
yeah,
house.
he gets up to speed, and as you guys are ripping through Main Street on this airplane, like I said, you can see like all the townsfolk like looking at you in amazement as to this huge, loud metal machine. Then it takes off into the sky, and he looks at Chuck and he says, "Where are we going, my boy?" And Chuck looks at him and he says, "Oh, straight east, don't ya know? Turn her east, and well, keep it low enough to the ground so we might be able to get some landmarks and see where we're going." And after a couple hours of flying, it's not too far away. Like Chuck said, it would be a couple days' journey on horseback. So for an airplane, you're able to make this journey within 2 or 3 hours or so. And you fly into this valley flanked by a small mountain range, and you see a large river running between the town. And you see the town is kind of split on either side of the river. And Chuck says to Fred, and he's like, "Okay, that looks like the town. Maybe we should put this plane down just outside because I don't know how receptive people are gonna be to this weird little machine. So maybe we should land a little outside of town and then walk our way in." And Fred says to him, "That's a good idea, my boy. I see a little patch of grass just outside of town. It looks like about a kilometer outside of town. I can put old Bessie down there, and we can cover her up with some leaves or something, and keep her hidden."
These people see
And
dragons and orcs, and they're scared about a little airplane.
Yeah,
What's
right.
a fucking giant loud machine? I mean,
It's our own dragon.
exactly. And okay, so he rolls a 15 for a landing, so it's a pretty comfy landing. They sit down in this little field, and Chuck basically shows you to the main path into town.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Like, rolling for
And-
landing is a time bomb. That is absolutely it can only go well a few
Absolutely,
times.
yeah.
It goes wrong once.
You know there's a 1 in there somewhere
God, yeah.
eventually.
That's exactly why I'm doing it.
We're okay for now.
We can't have a pirate ship. We can't have a plane. Just God taking away all our fun.
And so you guys make your way down this road, and before you get into town, you see a caravan, and there's a small goblin basically set up at this caravan that looks to be peddling wares. And he looks at you and he's like,
Gentlemen, come, gentlemen, come. I have some things for you.
In his native goblin tongue, because I can speak goblin, I say, we're very interested in your wares, or blah, 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 blah.
He's like,
Well, it's a bit of an accent, but that's not too bad of a goblin, I must say.
There you go.
I have minor things here and there. I've got some regular weaponry, but I specialize in painting weaponry, putting accents on things that you already have, perhaps customizing your weapons if you gentlemen are interested in that.
and Darren, because you spoke goblin to him, he puts out his hand to shake it, and he says,
It's nice to meet you, boys. My name is Sprays Painter.
Sprays Painter.
And how long did that name take you to come up with?
longer than I care to admit.
Yeah, longer than sex offender. Mr. Painter, can you affix, like, bejewelings and things to it, or is it strictly just painting and design?
Well, if you have jewels, I would be happy to affix them for you. I do have some jewels myself, but that will cost you extra, of course.
I don't believe you guys have any jewels right now. But, so Darren, he looks at you and he says in Orcish, in Goblin, rather, sorry. He says,
So what were you hoping to have painted or customize?
I would like...
Yeah.
Yes, good. I would like to have my staff of Mary Jane to be a dark wood with shimmering emerald highlights in the cracks. So it looks like it's a near black type of wood, but the green almost glows from within it as if there's a magical green energy trying to push forth and blow the staff itself apart.
well, I like that. And he brings kind of like looks like rough cut emeralds out from his bag, crushes them up, and tosses them into... tosses them into what looks like kind of like a primitive spray paint can, shakes it up, and he says,
Well, I think I can do that as described for, let's see, seven gold I think should do it.
Well, how about we make it an even 15, and you give my shield here a very nice design of a black with red highlights.
oh, okay. So then he takes some rubies out from his bag, crushes them into dust, throws them into a separate primitive-looking spray paint can, and kind of puts his hands out, each hand out, like basically asking for your staff and your shield.
Okay, I hand him both and the gold.
Perfect. So you can take 15 gold out of your inventory, and he kind of puts on like a little mask and some safety goggles, takes the shield, takes the staff, goes into his caravan, like closes the little leather like flap at the back of his caravan, and you guys hear from inside the caravan, shaking of spray cans. And Darren, he emerges about 5 minutes later, and your staff is now an almost black, dark wood look with some beautiful green highlights that shimmer and sparkle as it catches the sunlight because of those crushed up gems. And then your shield is black, but the spikes around it are all painted red, and it's got like the little brass part in the middle that is also red as well.
Excellent. It looks
And
fine, my man.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you're happy with it.
And then David, he looks at you and he's like,
For you, my boy, anything you're interested in.
Oh, yeah. So I take my guitar, hand it out to him. Like, be gentle with this. It's my baby. But I would like it to look like there's this band. You've never heard of them, probably. They're called Atreyu. They have this guitar.
Yeah.
It's white, and it has red blood dripping from it. I want that.
Wait, what's the band name? I'm going to look up this guitar right now.
Atreyu.
Atreyu. Like the guy from Neverending Story?
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you search up Atreyu,
It might be the
guitar
same
blood,
spelling.
Ah, yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yes, that should be no problem. Well, since I'm probably going to have to de-string the lute and make sure I don't paint over anything, this will be 10 gold for that.
Okay, just make sure you put it back in drop G when you're done.
Don't worry, it'll be better than new when I'm done with it.
And so you hand over the gold, so you can take that out of your inventory. He takes it back inside the caravan. You hear the shaking of spray paint or cans, some spraying going on, and you also hear him kind of like almost sounds like he's like just flinging like paint off a paintbrush at the guitar, and he comes back, and it looks almost identical to what you just described.
Glorious.
Wonderful. Excellent. I'm glad you're happy with the work.
And then Alex, he looks at you, and he's like,
And you, my boy, anything you would like painted?
Some simple reparations, please. And I take out my gun. So the musket that I have, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but in Donkey Kong Country, King K. Rool, in the second one, he kind of has like this pirate theme, and he's got this big gun. Like I think it's called like the blunderbuss. So that is kind of what I'm thinking. Like that shape of the gun is what I'm imagining for the musket, even though it's like comically oversized.
yeah, it's like one of those old-timey like turntable megaphones, but attached to a gun.
Yeah. So I pull that out and I go, all right, so right here on the back, I just want you to just a little bit of a typeface front towards enemy. And near the bottom, closer to the trigger, just the word boom. And then on the inside of the blunderbuss, I'm still kind of debating as to whether or not like a simple spiral pattern or some kind of target pattern on the inside. I think I'm going to go with the target pattern on the inside.
Perfect. Well, that shouldn't be too difficult, but you had mentioned you wanted some modification to the barrel.
Yes, just I would like the word "boom" written above the trigger barrel.
Perfect. Well, he looks at you and he's like,
Well, that's not too difficult of an order, so that'll be 5 gold for you, my sir.
Is there anything that you can do in terms of, let's say, no, never mind. I'm quite all right with this.
What's
I don't
your
want to get too
position on
complicated.
blowjobs?
and so Alex, he takes your gun, he does the same thing, goes into the back of the caravan. You hear some like almost like Sharpie squeaking as he's writing these words onto the gun. You hear some paint spraying going on, and he comes back out, and your gun is nice and customized. It will be easy to identify from all the other muskets, of course, in this town or in this realm. And he hands it back to you, and he's like,
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate your business. Thank you very much. I see you're heading into town, so please, if you don't mind, just mentioning to the townsfolk, if they ask where you got your paint done, let them know it was Spray's painter that did it for you just outside of town.
Quick follow-up. Are you able to do what you did to our weaponry with our armor and our leather clothing?
Well, of course, I'm happy to paint basically anything that you are able to either wear or wield.
Excellent. I would like you to dye all of my leathers black and my brass highlights. If you could do that ruby thing again for the red highlights, that would be spectacular.
Absolutely.
take some more kind of harsh cut rubies out, crushes them up with the butt of a short sword into the primitive spray paint can, and then he, of course, goes into the back of the caravan, spray paint, comes back, and your leather is beautifully stained black with shimmering red highlights that glitter and sparkle in the sunlight. And he looks at you and he says,
Well, I should have negotiated a price before I did that, but that'll be another 10 gold, please.
Here you are, sir, and I flick on the gold.
Perfect. And will there be anything else for you gentlemen?
Yes. So I'm looking at the ground. I'm gonna try to. Can I look to see if there's any sticks around me?
Sure. I mean, it's like a forest trail, so I'm not even going to make you roll.
Cool.
You find a stick.
I just grab. No, I grab a bunch of sticks, like a whole armful of sticks.
Yeah.
I just like nonchalantly just like throw them on the ground so they kind of spread out into like a mess of sticks. And I'm just like, perfect. This looks like a metal band's logo. I want you to recreate this on the back of my trench coat.
He's like, he kind of like comes around the table and he's like, puts on his like little spectacles, his little glasses. He pulls out like a little notepad from his back pocket, does like a little sketch on it, copying the sticks on the ground. And he's like,
Well, that shouldn't be too hard. That'll be, let's call it 5 gold.
You got it.
and so you give him the 5 gold.
There's your logo,
Takes
David.
it back, takes your
Yeah, exactly.
your trench coat back. And it comes out, and it's just a bunch of weird, spiky, brutal-looking lines. And he says,
Well, I hope you enjoy it. I can't say I've ever had a request for something like this before, but I think it turned out well.
Turned out brutal.
Wonderful. Anything else for you, gentlemen?
Yes, I'm going to go and take off my adamantine chain shirt.
Ah, cool.
My crimson red adamantine chain shirt. And I'm just going to lay it down in front of it and go, I need this in a shade of lime green, please.
You wouldn't happen to have any limes on you, would you?
I smile. And reach into my backpack and go, oh, you're in luck, my friend.
Well, seeing as how you're providing some of the supplies for this job, let's call it 3 gold.
3 gold. Sir, I never paid you for the reparations to my gun. How much gold do I owe you?
Oh, my apologies, sir. That's very honest of you. Thank you very much. Well, let's call it another 10 gold for the work on the gun.
Okay, well, so it's 10
So
and then 13 gold? Okay.
And so how many limes do you give him?
How many limes do you need to complete the transaction, my friend?
I think 2 limes should do it. That should be enough for adding to the paint to give it that nice natural lime color.
I'll give him 2.
Perfect. And so he takes the 2 limes, and you see him put them into like a mortar and pestle, and he grinds up the limes, dumps it into one of his little primitive spray paint cans, puts in some white paint, shakes it up, takes it to the back of the caravan. You hear some spraying going on, and then he comes back out, and bright lime green chainmail vest is what he is holding in his hands, and he hands it back to you, and he's like,
I think that turned out even better than expected.
Your craftsmanship is exquisite, my friend. Thank you very much. And I put the chainmail shirt back on.
And like I said, gentlemen, please let the townsfolk know that I was the one to do the work, and I would appreciate some good references so I can make some money, perhaps, off the traveling townsfolk as they come and go.
We shall spread the good name of Sprays Painters to one and all.
Wonderful. So do you guys head into town?
Yeah, I think that's course of action number 1 right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you guys walk into town, it's kind of getting like late afternoon, early evening. And, well, before you get into town, actually, you see a fork in the road. And there's a sign that says Fort Thorns. And an arrow points both left and right.
Well, when they said that the town was divided, I did not understand that they meant literally.
Yes. Little left versus right here.
Quite.
I'd like to investigate the signs to see if one is, like, newer than the other.
Well, you can see that they both look basically fairly worn and old, as if they've both been there for similar periods of time.
And from both directions, we can't, like, see any, like, makeouts of buildings or remember anything from when we were in the plane that we saw.
Well, I will say this, the fork in the road is kind of, like, at the head of what looks like a river. So it's like, it's kind of got a bridge to the right, a bridge to the left, both going in opposite directions on either side of the river.
Oh, God.
Well, to be fair, this one didn't appear out of nowhere.
Okay, fair.
I also have an uneasy feeling about bridges.
Yes, a slender little friend.
So would you like to go right or left? And I will say you can see the town in the distance, and actually, you know what? Everybody make me a perception check.
Okay.
Perception.
18.
15.
7.
So both Darren and David, you can see that both sides of the town on either side of the river look almost identical.
And I'm sitting here noticing that there is water in the river.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but it seems to be flowing water.
I have an announcement to make. There is water.
This water is wet.
This truly Can we still see our goblin friend?
He's a couple kilometers back down the trail, we'll say.
Damn it.
Should we flip a coin?
I was going to say this is a classic coin flip scenario.
And Darren, I will also say that with your perception check of 18, you will also see that there seems to be like almost like a border check or a guard on either side at the end of both these bridges.
Oh, more government regulations.
Of course. I mean, fuck it, go right. Do you boys have any inkling of a direction you'd like to go?
Why don't you do a coin flip? Roll me a D4, and we'll say 3-4 is right, 1-2 is left.
2.
2. So you go left, and as you come to the end of the bridge, the border guard kind of looks at you and he says, "Name?"
I throw my cape to the side and take like a proud step forward and look up over his head and past him and just go, Doridius Wartinius.
I'm sorry, did you say Wartinius?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Ooh, a bit of hostility.
All right.
Punch him.
May I ask why?
Warts are not allowed on this side of the river. You know that, you scum. Get out of here.
That sounds awfully racist, but all right. I'll make my way back. I guess right was the original call. One of you boys try, see if anything happens.
Well, he looks at the two of you. He's like, yeah, I'm not taking your friends here either. Get out. Leave.
All right, well, my gut feeling originally was the right one.
So you go back to the right, and there is almost an identical-looking border guard there, and he says, "Name?"
I do the same action, but it's like a little bit more like confusingly reined in because I'm like, why am I doing this again? Doridius Wartinius.
Mentis Toboggan.
Welcome, sir, to... Wait, what the fuck was the name of this town?
I don't know.
Something fjord?
He's like, welcome, sir, to Fort
Fjords,
Fjords.
yeah.
Please, come on in. And your two friends, I am assuming, are with you.
Yes, so may I ask a quick question? Why did the townsfolk to the left act so racistly towards me when I tried to get in there?
Well, because they're graphs. Graphs are on the left side of the river. Warts are on the right side. You don't mix and mingle with the graphs.
I turn and I look at the party. I'm just like, Graf is my grandmother's maiden name.
I stare confusedly back at Dorinius.
I'm just as confused as you are, Sir Alex. We enter the town, I suppose.
Perfect. And as you enter the town, it is a fairly small, quiet town, but you can see people bustling around. You see an inn, you see, an armorer, and then on the far side of the town, kind of elevated above the rest, and on both sides of the river, you can see that there are, kind of identical dueling churches at the top, above each side of this town, above the river. Oh, excuse me.
Dueling churches.
I don't like churches, guys.
Yes, I am not too partial to the old religions as well, but are they kind of like a focal point, like the mainstay of the city, kind of like the biggest point of interest there kind of thing?
Well, they've got a large tower on them, but you do see as you enter the town that it looks like an inn/pub with lots of the locals milling about. Like I said, it's early evening, so people are getting off work and going to the local watering hole, it seems.
When in doubt, go to the inn. Pint? Boys?
Indeed.
To the inn.
Music to my ears.
You walk into the inn, and like I said, it's vibrant and bustling, and as soon as you walk in, Darren especially notices a familiar smell as there is a lot of smoke in the air.
Yes, welcome. Oh, I may even leave this wonderful village. I was going to say, do I see any loose blunts or anything occupying an ashtray?
Nope. But you do see what looks to be an elderly humanoid cat behind the bar, and she kind of makes eye contact with you and gives you a little wave.
Ooh, hello, my sweet little pussy. And I make my way over towards the cat.
So you make your way over to the bar,
Yes.
and she looks at you and she's like,
Oh, welcome, dearie. My name is Miriam. How may I help you?
Oh my. Oh my.
We are... Oh, my, is right. We're travelers new to this delightful village that we find ourselves in, but we found ourselves being turned away at its almost identical twin brother up the road. But we're welcomed with glee and excitement into here, and we're just trying to get to the bottom of things, of what's going on here, perhaps. My name, of course, is... I throw my cape to the side and look up over her head. And stoic pose.
yeah.
Yeah, and I thaumaturgy so that the lights start to flicker, the earth tremors a bit, and I go, my voice booms and echoes, Doridius Wartinius! Fuck the grass!
And as you say that, everybody in the bar goes, yeah, fuck off!
I start encouraging everyone.
And she's like, oh, well, that makes sense. And she's like, oh, well, that makes sense if you told him your name. They don't like our kind over there. But perhaps I can offer you a pair of rooms. They each have 2 beds.
Is that the only thing you could offer us a pair of?
Oh, I could pour you a drink, and it would be accompanied with some smokables.
I will just take the smokables, my lady.
Perfect. And so she takes like a large bucket of what looks like the dankest kush you've ever seen.
A bucket of it. Yeah, that's the best.
And she takes out a big cigar rollie, a blunt rollie. You know, dabbles the weed in there, rolls it up, gives it a nice little lick, and she's like, that'll be 4 copper, please. 4
Not
copper?
a problem. And I flicker the copper. Yeah, man, prices are good here.
Oh, yes, of course, us warts are very good at growing the pipe weed.
I'm sorry, you're a warts, you say?
Oh, of course. This is the wart side of town.
So everyone here comes from the same lineage?
Oh, not everybody here is a wart, but everybody that matters is.
And why is it that the warts matters here?
Well, this is our side of the town, dearie.
Why are you separated into 2?
Oh, that is a question for another time. There's a very long story behind that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yes,
I
there's
await
also
the
a very
exposition.
long blunt in front of us.
Grab my... Yeah, I pick up the blunt and ignite the tip of my finger with fire, and I just spark it up. Oh, it's so good! Oh, yeah.
I join Darren beside him at the bar.
Yeah, I pass
kinda,
it to him.
Look a little shady around, and I kind of look at the barkeeper. Kind of slip some money along the table. I'll take 1 ounce.
Oh, that'll be 1 silver, please.
1 silver.
An ounce? Make it 2?
There's some culture shock going on.
What's the legal carry amount out here?
Oh, well, it's legal everywhere, my dear.
Love it.
Yeah, my town.
This is like fun. This is like going on vacation and finding out that the Canadian dollar is like really good at exchange rate.
Yeah, it's worth 2 bucks in the U.S.
So, David, she takes out like a little leather pouch, stuffs it absolutely full, and hands you back a leather pouch the size of like a grapefruit.
I give it a big sniff.
It smells amazing.
Perfect. 1 ounce of dank.
Right in the backpack.
Yeah.
My bag of holding can hold a lot more than this, actually.
Yeah, actually.
500 pounds.
Yeah, I give, I don't, that's a good point you make there, sir. I give her a gold and say, what will this get us?
And she just brings out basically like a large like backpack full of weed and just hands it to you.
Yeah, I just start cramming it into David's bag of holding. Lovely. Well, we're done here. Let's go home.
Oh, boys, we are home.
Yeah, no doubt. Who is in charge of this side of the village? Do you have independent leaders, or is it one government's rule? How do things work?
Oh, dearie, we are governed by the matriarch of the Warts family, Wysella.
Wysella Warts, you say?
Indeed.
I take a hit from the blunt and I go,
just-
that's a funny name.
You're right, it is, sir.
And as you take a hit from the blunt, you hear the door of the inn open up, and you see what looks to be a humanoid frog. And
This weed is starting to kick in, my friends.
And he immediately clocks you guys standing at the bar, and he's wearing head to toe. He kind of looks like he's dressed like Friar Tuck.
Okay.
You know, like brown robes, like a rope belt tied around his waist. And he walks up to you, and, well, he's not very tall. He's about the same size as Chuck. And he says, "Gentlemen, please follow me."
I take another pull off of that, and I just, with like a squinty eyes and a ear-to-ear smirk, look at the other boy and say, let's follow the frog, I suppose.
What'd you say your name was? Friar Fuck?
Friar fuck.
"My name is Friar Farnsworth. Please follow me."
So I'm just sitting there staring into space, and I just like I announce out to no one in particular. I go, The frog paladin has just told us to follow him.
I think that we probably should. And I just kind of... Can my ring of feather fall allow me to just, like, float a few inches off the ground and just, like, glide across the floor?
No, it
got
only
wings,
works
though.
for when you're flying. Or
Well, I'm flying, boy. I'll tell you that much. I'm flying right now.
I didn't even think you had wings. That ring of feather falling doesn't make sense to give to you.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
That's okay. It'll work for when Darren forgets he has wings.
Yeah, which is every episode, apparently.
And find out what Friar Farnsworth wants on the next episode of Dungeons, Dudes, and Dragons.
I'm so fucking curious about this town. Dungeons, Dudes, and Dragons is David Beaton, the Tiefling Bard, Alex Kerrigan, the Half-Elf Fighter, myself, Darren Warts, the Aasimar Wizard, and our Dungeon Master, David Ashbaugh. We're an independent podcast that relies on you, the listener, to spread the word. If you enjoyed listening, please give us a follow on Instagram, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok at Dungeons, Dudes, Dragons, or contact the show directly by emailing us at dungeonsdudesdragons@gmail.com. But more importantly, tell your friends, your coworkers, even your pets to give us a listen. If you'd like to be featured as an NPC, or if you have homebrew items that you'd like to see featured in the show, tag us at Dungeons, Dudes, Dragons on social media. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Dungeons, Dudes, and Dragons.